Thank you for the invitation to DevOps Festival 2021. I am Iman Benlekehal and I have around 15 years of experience in information technology and around 13 years as a quality assurance specialist. I've been involved in a number of different sectors, from banking, financial services, human resources, and automotive. I wanted to diverse my experiences to learn how testing goes in all these sectors, how it changes and how it gets adapted in different organization processes. I also have some certifications as ISD, ITL, and last year I got the Scrum Master for SAFe. To keep me fresh with all the new methodologies and stuff like that. I'm not a specialist in any tools as tools keep changing and just know how to use them. The tools that I've used a lot are ALM, now it's Microfocus, QC Quality Center, and recently, Atlassian tools such as Jira and Confluence and X-Ray. I worked for 12 years in France, and I now moved in Canada, North America to learn to how testing and quality assurance is handled here, this part of the world. First, I would like to talk about risk metrics. I tell everyone and all the projects that everyone needs to get involved to give me their feelings and how they see the risks and the quality criteria and directly. This is how I put them and tell them, okay, we need to have this cartography about the most sensitive parts of your product. By this exercise, people will quickly see that the risk from the development point of view, from the project point of view, or from the user's point of view are different. This brings automatically discussion and automatically it will bring other stakeholders. People will tell me, okay, let's go ask this person. I think we need to get close to her to tell us exactly how, what's the frequency of the use of this requirement, for example. One of the way I bring and people start thinking differently is, okay, imagine you have a batch, you have a release, but you have an emergency release, but you have only 1 hour instead of 2 weeks. What do you want to test? What do you want to be sure it works? So this is how I start the mechanism of, okay, let's switch our thinking. Let's brainstorm, let's open our mind on how we can see the things, and this is how they get involved in the quality and how are they pronounce themselves. Because many say that testing quality is everyone's responsibility, but more QA is of developers. When you start speaking about risk and you start speaking and you tell them, okay, give me a score of the use of the frequency of the data, of the synchronization. The definition of quality could be customer perceptions, is the only reality. Or in this case, stakeholder perception is the only reality for quality. So, what quality means in a way that definition might be done at a Scrum team level, we're talking about, well, quality might be at an organizational level and definition of what that should be. When we start to think about what quality we are aiming for, this should be an organizational level decision for what quality. I think manufacturing is probably the easiest to talk about for this example, but if we took a German car manufacturer, there's a certain quality straightaway associated with that brand, whatever that quality is, and that is probably seen at a very high level. You might look at another country that creates cars, let's say Korea or China. You associate a different level of quality with the manufacturing process and maybe the reliability of those products as well. But there's a logical decision be made of the associated quality. So, I took my car into the garage yesterday and next to me was parked a Tesla. Obviously Tesla have an associated quality challenge. A lot of customers have said, oh, well, the fittings don't fit perfect. It is because they're not used to making things in a factory, following some methodology like Toyota Lean, as an approach to flow. And, part of that whole, if something looks wrong, pull the cord, that's not implemented maybe in a Tesla factory because they're not as mature with their processes, as some other organizations might be with theirs. Right? Like Toyota, I guess there's a great example. Maybe it's because the level of maturity is not there now. That obviously is very interesting in the sense of you think of that you probably associate Tesla with technology, and part of that is that maybe their advanced technologies surpassing everyone else. If we're sat with Elon Musk today and having a discussion on quality, I'm sure Elon would be very much on the right-hand side saying, the quality of the technology has to be good, but then he's also probably saying, well, actually it's about first to market. I guess a lot of the methodologies that we talk about today, like DevOps, is about speed to market and agility. So, maybe quality is a secondary citizen in those kinds of conversations, because it's about being the first to market. Now, of course, Tesla, were the first to market for manufacturing large-scale production electric vehicles. Secondary, it depend a lot on their quality culture. When I speak about quality culture is how the degree of the knowledge of what they know about quality assurance and how they practice it. Of course, the more mature it is, the more naturally it will come, the frequency will come naturally from them. This frequency will maybe start, maybe it will be more often in the beginning just to agree on the level on how we see things. After it will be just once per month or 2 months or every month, depending on the projects, depending on the size of the project and the people involved there. But the less knowledge our organization has, our project has on quality that will demand more frequency of interaction, and until they know and understand that they are responsible to, so this brings us, we face more human issues. There is how to change mindset, how to make people communicate and feel involved. That's the main challenge we see here. Of course, if people have don't to know quality assurance, but there are, stay neutral about whether they know they don't know. But they don't have a negative image, that will be much more easier that people don't know and have a negative image because of past experiences or many reasons is the people I've faced some projects where they said that testing is useless. We have many this kind of issues that can impact the frequency or how you're going to speak with all these people. This is why my first steps when I enter a project is to understand and feel their level of knowledge on quality assurance, and until where they know what's our job here, and this is for the QA and for all other people, project managers, product owners, analysts, developers, business, company, all these scale. By defining the risks and by defining which quality criteria they're thinking about, putting people in the same round table. If I try the most opposite ones to force them to understand that quality is something that is very relative from a marketing perspective, from a developer perspective. We're speaking about the same product when we speak about the same product, and everyone has his own definition that this is what I found magic. If you speak to them, they will tell you me as a quality texture and sleep, how they should see things. If I put them in the same table, they're going to speak to each other and challenge each other. And this is what I want. I want them to understand and see that they have a lot of definition of quality and it will be difficult to make them understand each other. Instead of making them understand each other, I want them to focus on the same product. Not looking at each other, but looking at the same product and start this mechanism or what we want, really, what is very sensitive, what is very critical for the product, for the project in terms of the process, even the process development process is part of quality. This is part of, I look to, when I speak about risks. Risk is not only the product, the process of development comes into the picture. So, I don't tell them something particular. I just put them in some situations where they touch the difficulty and that they see that the quality is not me too. It's not that for me to define it. It's for everyone to agree on what kind of level. If we have the CTO, CIO is there, this is more perfect because they will understand that somehow it's a problem. It's a super problem to define the quality we want. Once everyone understand that if you want to high performance, this means some particular technology, and it means a particular tool to test this. The CEO and CTOs will know that yes, it will cost them more and stuff like this. It's more about a practice and an adapt, what to tell them, as I told you, depending on the project, their culture, their quality, and how their mindset, but this is how. Well, I start by putting the customer in the center. So we have, let's say, 4 dimension. We don't have a triangle. Let's say we have a pyramid. So, heavy it's like numbers, they're in one dimension, if you don't give them priority relativity between all of them, you want to understand, you won't get full picture of what you want and how you can decide. I like to bring the fourth dimension in this triangle and not replace one of them, because we can see in some organizations they replaced it's not their repairs. They just put the customer in the center of this triangle, just to make people focus about it. It is important to make this pyramid with 4 points because yes, the customer is not in the middle. The customer will play this relativity, and we need to understand that all this is related, and we need to know exactly what we want and how we want to answer to this client, what part of his needs we want to answer, and we want to focus. And I think it's a human issue on all history. When we discover, or we create, some new stuff, we see we are in a new era, we have this issue or we want to be the first and let's put it into the market before other companies. We will adapt after we have deployed it to production. Additional areas like legislation and security, even though we are all human, we know that it will be difficult that in one day we will be facing these issues, but some of the companies just say, okay, we'll do it. Without speaking with customers, they will do it. And they'll see afterwards. Others will just be more preventive or, go with the digital assurance and wait to see how people get on, how they break themselves, or how it will go. That will create, so we have many issues.